Hey, good morning. It is already Wednesday. I know this time of the week seems to come around real fast. And can you believe it's May? Like, that is just mind blowing to me that we are already in May. We have 4 months behind us. We're a third of the way into the year already. And it's just one of those thoughts that's going through my head this morning, how time is just flying by. And when you're in business, you got to keep up with all of that. Everything that's going on in your personal life, everything that's going on in your business life. And when time feels like it's flying by, you got to make sure that you hold tight and that you keep focused on your business and that you keep that focus on everything that you're doing, not cutting corners and making sure you are doing things the right way and focusing on the growth of your business as well. So today we are going to talk about cash in your business. So something that some businesses deal with on a regular basis, some that other businesses just refuse to deal with, and then some businesses that aren't always sure how to deal with that. Like, what's the best way to make sure that you're staying in compliance, you're not upsetting Uncle Sam, and that you're handling that in the right way. So we're going to talk a little bit about that this morning and how to make sure that you're staying compliant. So my name is Carrie Postal. I own Abacus Business Solutions. I have an amazing team of 5 working with me, and we are helping our clients every day to know, understand, trust their numbers, help them to grow their business, and help them to understand what's going on in the business and how to help them to take their business to the next level. So let's jump straight in. So in finance accounting, we have standards. There are rules that we have to follow. There's certain things we have to do in a certain way. And then we have our clients make sure that they follow those rules as well. And if they're not sure how to do something, then we always have that open door where they can come and ask us questions so that we can help them. So keeping up with the compliance regulations helps you save your company time, helps you save money in the long run. And you're going to reduce the risk of anything being found and then being fired and having issues going on there. You want to make sure you have an accurate system of how you're keeping track of everything so that you know exactly what is going on in your business. So let's talk about cash. So there's lots of different ways that cash can come in and out of your business. And you want to make sure that you are recording all of that movement of cash. There's no point trying to do stuff under the table. At the end of the day, you're the business owner. 1, you need to sleep at night, knowing that you're doing things the right way. 2, you can't see how things are going on in your business if you're not being honest about the way you're operating business. It talks a lot about, speaks a lot to your integrity as to how you are as a business owner. So I'm a rule follower. I always have been. So I just really encourage you to, follow the rules, do things the right way. Don't try and hide things because that's always going to come back and bite you at the end of the day. So do it the right way, do it with confidence, know you're doing it right, and sleep really well at night. Okay, so let's jump straight in. So if cash transactions are a significant part of your business, then you should be having a daily cash sheet, and you want to make sure that you're reconciling so that you're recording basically everything that comes in as cash. And at the end of the day, you're making sure that you have all of that cash there and that everything is balanced and reconciled. So, you've got to make sure that your cash receipts match the daily deposit in the bank. So if you had $5,000 come in cash today, then you want to make sure that that $5,000 is being deposited in your bank tomorrow. So make sure all of that ties up, because at the end of the day, if something doesn't balance, then it's easier to figure it out within 24 hours of that happening, rather than trying to look like 3 weeks back and trying to figure out what went on. If you pay people by cash, then you also need to be tracking that. So maybe a cash disbursements journal is something that you need where you're tracking every cash that gets paid out. So maybe you have clients paying you by cash, and then maybe you have some subcontractors that you're also paying them by cash as well. So you've got money flowing in and out. So you want to make sure that you're tracking that and recording that accurately. So 1, if that subcontractor needs a 1099 at the end of the year, then you've got all the information that you need to be able to calculate that correctly. So make sure that you know exactly what money is going out if you're using cash. So reconciliations, you hear me talk about that, the importance of that. I know a lot of people don't think that they're important, but they are super, super critical and important to you as a business owner, understanding exactly what's going on in your business and making sure that you know that everything is correct. The reconciliation helps you to know that. So when we do the bank rec every month, that is checking everything in that checking account. It helps you to find errors, and particularly when you've got the cash side of it and you're depositing cash, you want to make sure that all of that ties up at the end of the day. And if there's any irregularities, like maybe theft going on or something, then you can check that and figure that out as well. Okay, let's talk about that petty cash fund, that one fund that sometimes just, goes forever with not being reconciled and nobody's paying any attention to it or looking at what's coming in and out of that. And it just gets topped up whenever it needs to. So with petty cash, you really need to make sure that you are keeping those receipts of any cash that is taken out of that and purchased for something or reimburse somebody. Make sure you've got those cash receipts in there. And then you want to make sure that either on a regular basis of monthly, or if you can't go a whole month without you're topping up that petty cash, then maybe weekly or bi-weekly. But you want to make sure that the total cash that's left in the petty cash plus the total of the receipts equals the total that you always keep in that petty cash. So for example, if you normally keep, say, $500, the cash that's in that tin plus the total of the receipts should always equal $500. And then you want to make sure that when you're topping that up, you're going to take the total of the receipts, you're going to make then a check for cash to get that amount of cash out of the bank to top the cash amount back up to the 500. So make sure you keep all those receipts. Make sure you're writing on those receipts what it was for, what was that purchase for, why was it needed, and who did it. And so you've got to keep track of all those small purchases and stay on top of that at least on a monthly basis. Otherwise, it can get crazy out of control. So believe me, I've seen it. Okay, so keeping an eye on your records is super, super important. You want to make sure there's no unauthorized withdrawals from your account, any unapproved purchases. You want to make sure that you know basically on your bank and on the cash side exactly what is moving in and out of your business. So it takes a lot less effort to follow the rules in the first place, comply with the regulations, rather than trying to undo all the mess and all the damage that it can cause, possibly by press, legal actions, fines. You don't want to get into that position. Your business is stressful enough without adding all that other stuff as well. So do things the right way, keep a high level of integrity, make sure that every cent of cash that moves in and out of your business has a record of it somewhere. If you're not recording your cash transactions on a regular basis, then that's something you really need to think about. And maybe that's a task that you need to outsource if that's not something that you can handle within the office. So if you don't have a team member that can handle that, then reach out to us. That's something that we help our clients with. Put a comment in below, says next steps, and we'll reach out to you, schedule a time to chat and see how we can help you to be able to stay compliant, have peace of mind, and know exactly how every dollar is moving in and out of your business. So also, if you know of another business owner that could benefit from this information, that could help them, then please feel free to tag them in the post or share the live with them, and allow us to be able to help more business owners to do the right thing and to grow their business.